Hey guys, Ken here, your thrifty apprentice, and we are starting another water soluble Wednesday. So I am in the midst of testing Soho Urban Artist watercolors. I received a few of them from watercolorbeginnersandbeyond.com to test and review. It was sort of a mismatch of tubes, so it really did need some colors to round it out. Now, I've already done a few paintings with just the tubes that I received, but for this little composition, I did round it out with a phthalo blue, a burnt umber, and a Payne's gray from Reeves, because I feel like it's going to work in conjunction with these paints, and I'll get into all of that in the review once that video is released. I do think I'm also going to add a sap green from Arteza, because the sap green in this set is actually pretty weak and pretty goopy, but that's neither here nor there for this video. So today is Sunday for me that I'm shooting these videos, and it's typically my day off, and it's the day that I get to shoot or try to shoot as many videos and get as much content recorded as I can. And I'm about to start my day, and I decided that I would share with you guys for this Water Soluble Wednesday how I start my day of painting or my day of content shooting. So I normally start off with a, quick watercolor composition just to get my juices flowing, just to get going. And I typically just do small scale paintings. And this one I'm going to do in the little journal you guys see me working in, or I show you a lot actually. I did have a viewer request for a video on how I construct or how to put together watercolor journals, or the ones that you guys see me working in. There's a video on my channel already, DIY travel palette, I believe, that has me making this journal in it. But I am going to go ahead and just make a separate video that concentrates on how to put together the little watercolor journals you guys see me working in all the time. I have absolutely no problem doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and get started with the video. Again, we're using Soho Urban Artist watercolors. This is me testing them further than the paintings I've already done with them. So I'm going to slide this to the side and see if I can get this centered, and we're going to go ahead and get to painting. Oh, and I did want to show you guys really quickly the reference photo that I'm using for this. Now, I use reference photos, as inspiration. I don't necessarily copy them exactly. I'm trying to, grow a little bit, so to speak. So here is the photo that I'm using. It's an acrylic painting, I do believe. And as you can see, I did not copy it at all. I really just used the shape to kind of sketch out the landscape that I'm going to be doing. But I want to show you guys that really quickly. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get this done. All right, let's jump on in and start with the sky. I'm going to just wet the background here. And then you're going to see me use combinations of the cerulean blue that I added from Reeves with the ultramarine that came as a part of the Soho tubes that I received. And we're just going to paint in the sky here, keeping the darker color towards the top and remembering to use more water to thin that pigment out and make the color lighter as we move towards the top of the mountain range. I am being careful not to color over the line, because I don't want the cerulean blue into the snow that's on the mountain. Although I guess a small blue hue shadow wouldn't be the worst thing. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and dab out some clouds here. I'm just using the end of a scrumped up paper towel in order to get back to the white of the paper so that those clouds will show through. Now I'm going to actually wet the background area for the water, painting around the rocks that I have laid out. And we're going to be reflecting the same colors from the sky into the water using the cerulean blue as we move forward into the foreground, and keeping the darker ultramarine color towards the horizon line and just kind of shadowing the banks of where the land is in the water. I like this composition. I was actually having fun painting, considering the fact that it's a warm-up. You know, I was kind of excited about the videos that I knew I was about to be shooting. Here you see me adding the ultramarine into the horizon line, and just kind of here and there throughout the cerulean blue in order to add shadows to the water. Gonna give it that more wavy effect, that more wavy look, and we'll enhance that later on with some gouache paint as well. Now here I am using a mixture of the ultramarine blue and the Payne's gray. Now the Payne's gray is from Reeves, so it doesn't have much granulation to it, but just a very, very small bit. And of course the ultramarine is the Soho, so mixed together they did give me a bit of texture, which I was enjoying. And I'm just going to go in and paint the mountain range here, being sure to go around the areas where I've left designated for snow. And I'm going to paint one layer of color all the way across, making sure to keep it uniform for each mountain. And as I continue to paint, I will layer each subsequent mountain with another layer of color in order to make it look like it's moving from light to dark. You know, giving you the illusion that one mountain is in front of the next. And I use that Payne's gray to also color in the rocks that are in the composition. And I'm going to use the credit card scraper in order to give just a little definition to the ones that are closer to us. And again, I'll also be layering those rocks to make them look like, you know, they're moving towards you as well. Now here what I'm doing is taking a credit card scraper and going down the edge of each one of those mountains. And what that's going to do is allow the color to seep in as I paint each one with an additional layer of paint, kind of enhancing the ridge line, so to speak, giving more separation between each mountain. I think I like that technique. It's the first time I'd ever done that, and I'll probably do it again in the future. Let's see. So here I'm just continuing to layer color on top of each of the rock formations to make them look like they're going from light to darker and darker and darker tones. I'm going to continue to do that, actually. I was thinking like I'm at this part of this voiceover where everything is going to sort of get repetitive, and I didn't want to just keep saying the same thing, because you guys can see I'm just literally adding another layer of color to each mountain as I go. So we're putting the last layer on the closest mountain to us, and hopefully what I've achieved is the illusion that each one of those mountains is in front of the next. Same thing with the rocks, making sure that the rock that is the closest to me in the foreground is the darkest of the three that are in the water. And I'm just going to take some of the same color that I mixed up for the mountain and the rocks, and we're going to throw some shadows into the water so that we can ground those rocks to the water, just to make sure that you can see some reflections, just trying to give a little bit more realism to it. And I'm going to enhance the shadows throughout the composition. Next, I'm going to grab some gouache here, some white gouache, and this is Reeves gouache, coincidentally. And no, actually, I take that back. This is Master's Touch gouache, which has been sitting on my desk, and I've been kind of using it to test it. I'm going to use that gouache to paint in the snow caps on each of the mountains. We're going to paint in the water line towards the horizon where the land will be meeting the water. We're going to paint in some water lines around each of the rocks to show how the water will kind of be crashing against them, or the waves will be crashing against them. And then I'm also going to put some highlights on each of the rocks from the direction in which the light would be coming. And then I'm also going to take that gouache to kind of put some highlights throughout the water itself in order to kind of enhance the waves and give it a more of a watery effect or feel, so to speak. So we're actually going to be using the gouache to do a lot of highlights, or a lot of enhancements with highlights in the composition. You know, it's so funny how much it matters to remember to put your shadows and your highlights in. And I'm trying to be more self-conscious and aware of doing that myself. So yeah, and that's pretty much going to you know, bring it to an end of what we're doing with the composition. It was just a little small something to get us started. I hope you guys like it. I hope you actually tried to paint along. Now I'm going to remove the tape once I get all these water lines in, and then we'll be jumping back into real time. So I will see you guys soon. Okay, there you have it, guys. That was a quick little way that I get warmed up right before a day of shooting videos. So now that I've got that out the way, I'm gonna make me a cup of coffee. I'm gonna get into shooting the videos for the rest of the week. If you guys liked anything that you saw in this video, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Remember, giving it a thumbs up gets it in front of more viewers, which will get more subscribers. I'm trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. Don't forget to comment. Let me know what you thought of the video, whether you're going to try it. What do you do for a quick day or for a quick warm-up before your day of painting? Head on over to the Thrifty Apprentice Facebook page as well as Instagram page. Like and follow us there. Remember, you can share in the Facebook community. And as I tell you guys at the end of every single video, just keep painting.